Alright, today we're going to start tackling the steering. Probably going to do the thermostat, and I bought a new air cleaner, or air filter because it needs it. This is the Pitman arm. It goes on the steering box. Nice, relatively clean, shiny new part. And then this is the wholesale closeout idler arm that I bought. It's a little bit rougher shape, but just because it looks bad does not mean it is. It's either remanufactured or it's just been bounced around in its box often enough that they had to put it in a new one. Or another one anyway. But, yeah. Looks can be deceiving. Because while it didn't look like it needed any steering help, this truck does. I can turn the steering wheel about 2.5, 3 inches either way before I actually start affecting the tires. I'm still cranking the wheel. Don't know how well you can see it, but yeah. I'm rocking the wheel back and forth and the rim is not doing anything. So, yeah. Time to start working on it. Okay, I decided to start with the idler arm because it doesn't affect my steering on the steering wheel when I take it off, so I'm not too worried about it. But one thing I did notice was that the ball joint end on it, on both ends, a little bit more play than the new one. It's actually a ball and socket joint where it looks like it's just a ball pressed into the shaft on the new one. Or pressed through a hole in the bracket on the new one. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm not too concerned about it. But, yeah. Taking that off, you know, of course, this is a ball joint. It's got a tapered shaft, so it's going to be stuck in the seat. So I'm going to employ one of my new tools, wherever the heck I put it. Just a moment. Well, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. Here we go. I'm going to employ my idler arm puller, or Pitman arm puller. Bought this a while ago, never had an occasion to use it because none of my vehicles that I was actually working on the steering had a Pitman arm or an idler arm. Now this is designed to clamp around the bolt that comes out of the bottom of the Pitman arm shaft on the steering box, clamp around it and then push the shaft, or push against the end of the shaft with this end and pull the arm off like that. Well, it can also be employed thanks to these tensioner screws that hold the arms tight against this block here. It can also be employed as a ball joint pusher. I should be able to push the shaft of the ball joint out of the hole on the tie rod and get it off. So that's what I'm going to do. My progress so far. Got the old idler arm out, and yeah, the ball's a little bit loose. Don't know if you can hear it, but it is, you know, sloppy on both in and out and left and right. Got the new one in, no problems. This one didn't have a cotter pin in it, neither did the Pitman arm. Here's the new Pitman arm. It's got the same style as the new idler arm did, where the ball is actually inside the arm and the socket goes through from the top. Much stronger design, but had to rent a socket to get the nut off the old idler arm, but I can't get the idler arm off of the steering box, or the Pitman arm, excuse me, because my puller folded like tinfoil. So I got my dad bringing out his older, stronger one, and hopefully we'll be able to get it done, because, yeah, I'm kind of sick of playing with this. I'm still fixing other people's mistakes. They changed the tie rod ends, the inner, and I believe both outers, because they're sitting in the bed of the truck, but they didn't bother to do the Pitman arm or the idler arm. That's lazy. That's bad. If you're going to do a job, do it right. Again, I'm tired of fixing everybody's screw-ups. Alright, well, it looks like it's going to be another two-parter, because my dad brought his pullers over and we couldn't get it to move, so I'm going to end up taking the power steering pump off, taking the entire steering box up through the engine compartment, taking it out of the truck, and having to cut the arm And then I couldn't get the heater core in either because when they cut the wires, they cut them so damn short that I couldn't get to it. And you notice that it's kind of dark on camera because, well, it's really late and starting to get really cold. So I'm going inside. So this is going to be a two-parter. But yeah, I am really sick and tired of having to fix other people's mistakes. If they had changed the tie rod, or the Pitman arm and the idler arm, when they did the tie rod ends, I would not have to be doing this. If they didn't cut the wires and replace the fuse under the dash, which was the only problem as far as I can tell with the radio and the heater blower, then that never would have happened. You know, it's basic diagnostic steps. You don't have to cut and hack and mess with stuff and screw yourself over in the long run if you just bother to do things the right way. And yes, I know I sometimes have a lisp when I'm talking because I have one of these in my mouth when I'm talking, because this is the only thing keeping me sane right now, because I want to hunt down the little bastard that owned this, or at least the guy I think I know who owned this before, and yeah, do horrible, unspeakable, ungodly things to him for all the shit that he's putting me through to work on this truck. Pitman arm take 2. I'm going to try to get this out of here today without taking the steering box and the power steering pump out of the truck, as well. That's just more work than I need to do, hopefully. But if the Dremel doesn't work, if the cutoff doesn't work, I'm going to remove it from the truck and use a Dremel, or a grinder, angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and a grinding wheel. Whatever I have to do to get that damn thing out. I plan on rebuilding the steering box anyway, if not outright replacing it because it's leaking, but yeah, these things really do come in handy. Nike. Got it off. I may have just slightly damaged the sleeve on the steering box when I was removing it because it was rusted to the shaft, but you can barely notice. But yeah, this thing actually popped apart slightly as I was cutting through it when I finally got through enough. I don't know if it'll focus, but it's got these flat spots that key it to the steering box. And that notch there is what I actually carved out with a snap-on 2-jaw puller. That's how on there this thing was. It had actually shrunk to the steering box. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know why that's possible, but that's what happened. But yeah, I win. Now I just got to put everything back together. Well, I finally got it, but the previous owner's ineptitude strikes again. That's straight. That's with the wheels straight. Now, believe me, I fought this thing, trying to take the Pitman arm off, straighten the steering box out, put it back on, because there's 4 flat spots on the shaft coming out of the steering box, and 4 raised flat areas on the Pitman arm. So I figured, hey, it might be off a little bit. No, that is the only way it goes on, other than 180 out. So now I can barely turn left until I get this thing to an alignment shop and get this sorted out. I hate the previous owner. I hate it when people don't do the job right, and I really, really hate it when people do the job wrong on purpose. I'm sorry I'm shaking the camera so much, but I am incredibly pissed off because I've just spent the last 2.5 hours working on this, and now it's raining, so I can't do anything else. God, I hate incompetent people.